With the Euros fast approaching, I think it's time we put together our England starting 11.
Hey, let's do it. We've got a great manager in Gareth Southgate, haven't we, Theo?
We do, and I think more people need to back him because the one competition we've been in, we got to the Final Four, didn't we?
Absolutely. We've got a golden generation coming along, haven't we?
I know, it's exciting, and that's why it's difficult to agree on 11 players to go out there and play this summer. If you disagree, I want to hear your opinion. We're going to be replying. Let's start with the goalkeeper.
No, Theo. Let's start with the like target because I want 12,000 likes for this video, for the TDL.
12,000 is rookie numbers. I want 18,000 likes. This is England. This is starting 11. Let's do it for Southgate.
Let's do it for the Three Lions.
Let's do it for the summer. It's coming home. First position is goalkeeper. Let me lay down the options for you. We've got Nick Pope at Burnley having a great season, Jordan Pickford at Everton, and Dean Henderson at Man United, which has recently broken into the team. Who's your first choice, Dad?
Nick Pope.
Why is it Nick Pope?
Theo, he's a safe pair of hands, he's a good shot stopper, and he's played all season. So Nick Pope from Burnley all day long.
And for me, I'll agree with you on the first one, Dad. I would also go for Nick Pope, the best save per game percentage out of all three. Dean Henderson has actually looked really good for Man United recently, and is in with a shout, but he hasn't played as much as Nick Pope all round the season, so we agree.
And Jordan Pickford just makes me a bit nervous, Theo.
Yeah, same as me. Good for England though, and I can understand why Southgate will pick him, but in an ideal 11, I'd rather take Pope. Let's get into defence with the left back. We've got four options. You could pick James Justin, who's just got a really bad injury at Leicester. You could go for Aaron Cresswell at West Ham. So many assists, having an incredible year. And then you've got Ben Chilwell at Chelsea. And of course, you've got Luke Shaw at Man United. Who would you go for though, Dad?
Absolutely Luke Shaw. I think he's the most improved player at Man United this season. And he's a marauding left back, isn't he, who creates chances. He's got 5 assists this season.
Yeah.
So all day long, Luke Shaw of Man United.
He's probably had the best year, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
And he's linked well in that Man United setup. And I'm going to completely agree with you, Dad. Ben Chilwell's been rotated a bit too much, and Marcus Alonso. James Justin will be coming back from an injury. And Aaron Cresswell, I just don't think he's on the same level as Luke Shaw. He's very good, but Luke Shaw is our best left back for me. Tell me in the comments if you agree. On to a very controversial decision, because there is so many options, the centre-back role. Now, you get to pick 2 out of all these names. You could go for Ezri Konsa at Villa, Tomori at AC Milan. You could pick John Stones at City, Lewis Dunk at Brighton, Michael Keane at Everton, Connor Cody gets in there at Wolves, and of course Harry Maguire. And there's even other names like Mings and others. Maybe Chris Smalling gets a shout. But Dad, who are your 2 centre-backs for the roles? Well,
you didn't say David Wheater from Oldham on Bolton, but so I'm going to have to go for Harry Maguire and John Stones. I'm going over to Manchester. Now, Harry Maguire has been proving his critics wrong all season. He's an absolute must for the England team. He was great in Russia, wasn't he, Theo?
He was.
And John Stones has just been immense alongside Ruben Diaz for City this season. So really, that's not a difficult choice for me, those 2.
There's a lot of options, but there's 2 that stands out, really. Yeah. Let's be real here. It's Stones and Maguire. Stones will add that bit of pace. He's been on such confidence under Pep Guardiola this season. He's about to win the Premier League. He might win a Champions League too. And being that centre-back who's basically playing all the important games with Ruben Diaz is an absolute must. The other one, I agree with you too, Dad.
Yes, brilliant.
Maguire, because he's got that Russia World Cup history. Do you remember how many headers he scored?
I know, he's brilliant with his head. He heads everything away, and he also marauds, doesn't he? He comes up the pitch once or twice a game.
Yeah.
And what I love about him, he's great in the dressing room and on the pitch. He's a shouter. He's got the experience. He's absolutely the first name on my team sheet.
Well, Dad, we're just agreeing at the moment. 2 centre-backs, a left-back and a goalie, all agreed. Tell us in the comments if you don't. But I get a feeling we won't agree on this next one, the right-back role. Let me lay down the options for you. We've got Reece James at Chelsea, Kieran Trippier at Atletico Madrid. We've got Kyle Walker at Spurs. And then, of course, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool. And that's taken out most of the right-backs that could even get in there, like Kyle Walker-Peters or bloody Lamptey, or there's so many. We could spend all day talking about the right-back role. But who is your number 1 choice for the Euros?
Well, I'll tell you who I didn't pick, and that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I need to say this. He's not having a good season. And secondly, he's not been that good for England. Let's just be honest here. I've gone for Reece James. Now, he's only played a handful of times for England, but he looks so comfortable in this shirt, Theo.
But he has no big experience for England. He's not been at a big competition like Trippier. Trent was at the Nations League. You know, these guys have got a history of playing for England when it seriously matters. I think it's a bit of a gamble going for a player like Reece James.
Yes, I do, Theo, but to some extent I'm looking ahead, and I think players like this need to be blooded. They can only become great England players by wearing the shirt. Now, I know to say Kyle Walker might be a better option, but I'm going for Reece James.
I'm going for Kyle Walker, and I think it comes down to that experience. You know, he played in a 3-back role, which, by the way, we've sacked off a 5-back, which I'm absolutely delighted about. And Kyle Walker's best role is right back, so I'm pleased he's going back to that position. And for me, it's him. It's him who plays in the right-back spot for the Euros, because he can attack, go forward, he's got that pep mentality, and he can defend and get stuck in. He literally pocketed Lukaku in that Belgian game a few weeks back in the last international break. I've got faith in him. I've got faith in anyone who plays under Pep.
No, that's fair enough. He is a quality player, Theo, but I'm looking more to the future. So I'd like to see Reece James and Trent rotated over the next decade.
Dad, I'm pleased we disagree. Tell us who you agree with in the comments. Now on to the midfield. Now I think me and my dad agreed we're going to have 3 midfielders, that's right? Okay, well let's start with the holding mid role. And I think it's between 2 main names in that DM spot. Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips? Who are you picking?
Well, you know what? A year ago, I wouldn't be sure, but now I'm absolutely 100% sure it's Declan Rice. He's a better player than Calvin Phillips, and he's shown that this season. He's been the absolute linchpin of a wonderful West Ham team, Theo. You've got to agree.
I completely agree, and every year he surprises me more about how good this guy can be.
Yes.
Chelsea were interested in him for a bit, and you know he's smashing at West Ham, and I really hope he stays at the Hammers because he's really blossoming. Year on year, he's becoming more of a complete holding midfielder. He's so good in the tackle, he's timed it well, he's experienced, but also he's knowledgeable about when to dive in, when not to, stand off it. And Declan Rice is an absolute must in this midfield. He'll give us cover when need be in big competitions and big games, like he does in big games in the Prem. So
True, Theo, and absolutely one of the most improved players over the last couple of years.
Now for the midfield 3, we want one attacking minded, one defensive minded, and one kind of box to box. Let's go for that box to box role and go through the options, Dad. You could have picked James Ward-Prowse, you could have gone for Mason Mount, Jordan Henderson, and you could have gone for Jude Bellingham. Who have you picked?
That's a really tough one, but you know what? Mason Mount. And I'll tell you why, Theo, because a year ago, he was the teacher's pet, wasn't he, in some people's eyes? Right. The teacher's pet of Gareth Southgate and of Frank Lampard. But this season, he's gone out there and he's been absolutely superb. He's a creator. He works incredibly hard. He absolutely has to be in the team.
Well, I've gone for a controversial decision. I picked James Ward-Prowse in this role.
Ooh, Theo, wow.
There's something he adds to the team that I believe we need there in the Euros. He's a set-piece creator, and he's very underrated. If you actually watch Southampton week in, week out, he's a leader on the roll. He knows exactly where to play the ball, what runs to make, and I think we need that in the England squad. I think people will put down Jordan Henderson, but we've got to look ahead, don't we, Dad?
We certainly do. Now, that is a very big statement from Theo, but he is superb at the dead ball.
But Dad, Mason Mount in that role, is that not a bit too attacking, knowing you're probably going to have another attacking option in that midfield?
Yes, I hold my hands up to that one, Theo. I think my team is too attacking, but you know what? As an England fan, I want to see an attacking team.
Of course you do, but I don't think Southgate will do that.
Yeah, I know.
It's true.
And Jordan Henderson, he's been a brilliant servant for Liverpool, for England, for so many years, but I think we've got to look ahead. I think there's a place on the bench for him, but not in the 11. Right,
okay, we've both named 2 of our 3 midfielders. I think it's time we pick our attacking position. Now, the options are Mason Mount in a more attacking role than centre mid, so different from you. Jack Grealish, of course, Villa. Phil Foden at City. Jesse Lingard at West Ham. And James Maddison at Leicester City. Some very good options in this position.
There are, Theo, but I'm going for the best young player in the country by a country mile, Phil Foden, who is very versatile, Theo. You can play him further up the pitch, but you know what? He does have enough there defensively to get in my 11.
You're telling me Phil Foden, he's basically a kid, Dad. And you've got enough faith in him and confidence for him to start in the Euros over the options like what? Grealish, bloody Maddison and all of them?
Yes.
You're not even playing a central midfielder.
I have zero doubts about Phil Foden. He is a wonderful young player who can take the ball from defence and push it up to, it could be a Grealish or a Sterling or whoever.
That's a big, big risk. And Phil Foden didn't make my 11. And the player I picked in the attacking mid-role is Mason Mount.
Yes.
Listen, he wouldn't have been in my teams at the last international break. He wouldn't have been anywhere near it a few weeks ago, to be honest. But every game I watch him under Chelsea and under England, he impresses me even more. Against San Marino, Dad, Mason Mount had 8 key passes in 45 minutes of football. That's just unbelievable statistics. I want that in my England squad because he brings a creativity that is an absolute must into the team. Every game at the moment he's improving at Chelsea, and for this summer we need him in there. So we agree on that, but I'm putting him in a more attacking role. We're getting onto the forward options, Dad, and I don't think we're going to agree because there's so many bloody options. Let's start with the left winger. We've got Jack Grealish at Villa, if you want to play him in a more attacking role. You've got Raheem Sterling at City, Marcus Rashford at Man United, and Harvey Barnes at Leicester. You have to pick one. Who is it?
Raheem Sterling is not in my 11th here.
You're lying.
The reason for that, I mean, he's brilliant at going past a couple of players, but his finishing at times is woeful.
Dad,
Jack Grealish.
Are you forgetting it's Raheem Sterling?
I know. He's
when
on
he has
my
a
bench.
bad year at City, he still bags a ton of goals.
I know he does, Theo.
It's Raheem. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Right, Jack Grealish looks a little bit tired now. I think he's had domestically too many games, so I'm leaving him out of my 11.
Jack Grealish.
Going with Marcus Rashford, Theo.
What? You left out Jack Grealish?
It's tough. It's hard to even say that. The thing about Rashford, Theo, he scored almost twice the goals that Grealish has this season. He's got 9 goals, 9 assists.
I was not expecting this from you. You've been telling me all along you wanted to fit a way of getting Foden and Grealish
I know.
And you've taken out Jackie Boy.
It was a last-minute decision. Rashford only just over Grealish.
That is huge. A lot of people would disagree with you.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people, first pick is Jack Grealish in the team.
Yeah, I know.
And he's my pick. My left winger is Jack Grealish. And it's very simple. A lot of you will agree with me. He's had a breakthrough season at Villa. He basically carries them at times. He's unbelievable.
But Theo, don't you think he's looked a little bit tired in recent weeks?
Yes, but Dad, we're talking about the Euros for the summer.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be a break between the end of the Prem and the Euros. He'll have that break. He'll be ready to go. And I'm telling you, Jack Grealish will have a great summer. Let's go to the other wing, the right winger position. Here are the options, Dad. You could go for JADON Sancho at Dortmund, who's been improving a little bit recently. You could have Phil Foden at City as a winger. But I think you've already picked him.
Yes.
Raheem Sterling on the other side, because you haven't picked him yet, but you said he wasn't going to be in the team. Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal lad, he's been smashing it lately.
I've gone for JADON Sancho, Theo.
No way!
Yeah, now to some extent he's out of sight, out of mind, because he's playing in the Bundesliga. But this season, Theo, 11 assists, 6 goals. He's a superb young player. Now, I accept he's not been that brilliant in an England shirt, but the only way to improve at international level is to wear the shirt again and again. JADON Sancho.
You've got belief
yes,
in a lad who's not even played regularly in the Premier League. Okay, he's done well at Dortmund, but you've got faith in starting him for England. He's not got that many caps, Dad.
Theo, teams like Man United will be fighting over this player in the near future.
Well, they tried to buy
Sancho.
him and they couldn't get it round. I've gone for Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for being boring, but that man will be in the England team, and he's in my England team because I've got full faith for Raheem Sterling to turn up eventually when it matters. I know he misses a lot of chances.
Theo, he can't finish his dinner.
You say this, but when he has a bad year at City, he goes and bangs in at least 15 goals in a season. That's a bad year. We've seen him have 20, 25 plus goal scoring seasons at City as a winger.
Yeah.
What you can't deny is that guy's got so many goals in his career and he has to be in that England team. I know he's not great for England, but keep the faith in him for this summer. Things are going to be different. He's going to have more chances with Mason Mount giving him 8 key passes in first half. So yeah, we'll find out. That's my option. We disagree, but what do you guys think in the comments? And finally, I don't think we'll have to argue for once about a position here. The striker role. You could have gone for, I don't know, this guy called Harry Kane, do you know? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Danny Ings, Bamford, Watkins. Who are you picking?
Well, he's the best player in an England shirt by a country mile. It's Harry Kane.
Okay.
This guy is simply world class. Now, he plays for a dysfunctional Spurs team. He's got 17 goals and 13 assists here.
I know.
He's a forward. He's a creative. He's an assister as well. And he can be a defender at times. He can be nodding the balls off the line.
At corners, if we're trying to hold on to a lead, he will be back there helping out the lads. And he's a leader, let's not forget that.
Absolutely.
So guys, he won the Golden Boot at the Russia World Cup. And he could probably win the Golden Boot again. I'd back him too. He's also my choice. Harry Kane is the striker to end our teams. Now, Dad, let's just quickly put your whole team on the screen right now. You've gone for some mad picks there. You've gone for Mason Mount, okay, in a midfield with Foden and only Declan Rice in cover. Rashford, Kane and Sancho got in your team. It's a different team, that's for sure, isn't it?
It is very different. Now, I think that the gaffer will actually go for the likes of Pickford and Henderson and Walker. I think he'll be less of a risk taker than me, Theo. But you know what? Those 11 players that I've mentioned, I want to see them on the field of play.
So if you were the gaffer, you'd genuinely field that 11?
100%.
And would it be coming home?
Yes, absolutely. Football's coming out.
Well, Dad, that's what it's all about. If you believe in your ideal 11 and you think it's coming home, we'll find out. But guys, this is on my screen now. This is my ideal 11. I've gone with some very interesting shouts. I know people will give me stick for saying Ward-Prowse over Jordan Henderson, but I don't want to look in the past. I've watched enough of Ward-Prowse for Southampton and England, and his set pieces abilities, where he's the best in Europe at set pieces, I want that in my team. We score a lot of goals from corners and free kicks.
Yes.
He can be a producer of that, can't he?
Is he the next David Beckham then, Theo?
Bloody hell, that's a huge statement. But Dad, what do you think of my team overall?
Theo, that is a very good team. And I tell you what, looking at both our teams, we've got some amazing young talent.
We do.
And I'm excited about the next decade.
And what I like about what you and me have done is gone for different names. We're not being boring here. We're not picking the same players. We've gone controversial, and I like that. So guys, if you disagree, you agree, tell us in the comments. If we've missed out an absolute wonder kid, let us know in the comments below. Thogdad asked for 14k likes. I jumped that up to something like, I don't know, 18. I think he said 12 actually. We're just gonna get past 18. Do it for Southgate, do it for England. Football's coming home if we get 18,000 likes. Goodbye.
See ya.